So, ayan po, good morning po sa lahat. Good morning po. And to my classmate po. Right, today we're gonna present pressure measurements. But before we start, this is my group mates. And ayan, punta na agad tayo sa ating icebreaker. I would like to invite Gian Mercado to lead us sa ating icebreaker.
Okay, so good morning po, ma'am, and good morning po, T105. So, makiki-heart muna po kung ready na po tayo. Ayan. So, ang ating icebreaker ngayon ay simple lang. Kung kayo ay nag-Philly 101, siguro alam niyo yung ginawa natin nung Philly 101. Pero sa mga hindi nag-Philly 101, ba't kayo pumasa? So, ang mechanics po natin, use the given picture to guess the word related to the pressure measurement. So, rest assured po na lahat ng ipapakita naming words, i-discuss namin mamaya pagkatapos ng icebreaker. So, ready na ba ang lahat? Okay, yan. Sige. Okay, thank you. Sige. Try muna nating simulan ng sample muna. Okay. Okay, warm up round. Ano kaya yan? Anyone? Raise po ng hand ang gustong mag-recite. Paunahan na lang po. Okay, Jerome?
Pressure.
Okay. Your answer is pressure. So, press plus sure plus pressure. So, ganun po ang ating mechanics kung paano, kumbaga pag kung ano yung word na nakikita natin sa ating screen, ay yun ang ating huhulaan or pagduduksongin. Ika nga. Okay, ready na ba tayo sa question number 1? Ito na ang pinaka-real na real talaga. Are you ready? Okay. Okay, question number 1. Yan. Ano kaya yan? Ingat daw sa biyahe. Any guesses? Medyo mahirap ba? Sige, okay. Ating first clue ay synonymous ng ingat. But syempre, dahil English yung subject natin, English yung word. Feel ko pogi ang nakaisip niyang anong yan. Question na yan. Ano? Okay, Trina. Anong sagot mo?
Safety po.
Okay, your answer is... Okay, safety. Okay. Okay, ready bang lahat sa second question? Makiki-heart? Okay. Ano yan? Ano kaya yan? May clue sa baba o si Fafi daw. Anong karapatan mong hingi ng isang bagay na Char. I deserve an explanation. Sa ika nga. Siya ay ano? Kalahati niya minus you plus siya? Or medyo mahirap yung word na yan? Okay, Miss Cruzat?
Try lang po. Pascal po.
Okay, your answer is Pascal. Okay, yan ay si Piolo Pascal. Okay, next word. Ayan, sino kaya yan? Yung nagpo-Pokemon dyan. Yun na pala yung wino-worry niya, activities at fans. Kung ako din naman, siguro yan din yung worry ko ngayon. Okay, sino makakaisip nga? Sounds like, yan yung clue niya. Sounds like nung yung kulay orange na yan or dilaw yan. Hindi ko lang alam. Hindi naman ako ng Pokemon, pero nilagay ko din yan as context. Anyone? Okay, Jerome ulit.
PSI.
Okay, Your answer is... Okay, PSI. Wala lang, ang creative mo. Psyduck. Okay, mema. Okay, next question. Meron pa ba? Okay, yan. Very controversial. Isang sementong walang bakal. Ano kaya yan? Tsaka ano kayang ginagawa ni Kuya dong nasa kaliwa? Ini-invoke niya ba yung rights? Okay, any guesses? Parang kung mahirap nga yan. Yan, dahil siya ay dalawa ang line, so dalawa siyang word. Blank, blank. Siguro medyo madali yung nasa parenthesis. Go. Sinong gustong sumagot? So, feel ko alam nyo na ang sagot dyan, nahihiya lang kayo. Ano, gusto ba magtawag? Magtatawag sa question. Anyone? O sige, dagdagan natin ng clue. Yung isa parang nag-iisip, yung lalaki. Medyo contradicting kasi sa Senate hearing, hindi naman siya nagsalita ng ano. Sorry. Okay, walang nakakaisip ng sagot. Okay, Hermione.
Francis Caltron.
Wow, your answer is... Okay, process control. Okay, so simulan na po natin ang ating lesson or chapter number 2.
So today po, we're gonna talk about pressure measurement. Pressure measurement is one of the most important and widely used measurements in both engineering and everyday applications. It refers to determining the amount of force of a fluid, whether it is a liquid or gas. Just like the temperature and flow rate, pressure is a fundamental parameter that must be monitored to ensure safe and efficient operation of systems. By understanding pressure measurement, we can prevent accidents, improve efficiency, and ensure the quality of products and services. That's why it is considered one of the most common and valuable measurements used across the world. Next po is we have the core applications of the pressure measurement. We have boiler monitoring, industrial processes, liquid level detection, density estimation, flow rate indication, temperature indication, and everyday application. Sa boiler monitoring po, pressure measurement ensures boilers to operate safely by keeping steam pressure within the safe limits. Sa process industries po, continuous pressure monitoring maintains product quality and safety sa field na po ito. Sa liquid level detection, pressure readings determine liquid levels in tanks and vessels to prevent overflow or shortage. Sa density estimation naman po, pressure data can be used to calculate the density of fluids for quality control. Sa flow rate indication, devices like Venturi pressure devices like Venturi meters po determine the difference of measure fluid flow. Sa temperature indication naman po, kagaya po ng thermometers, nagre-rely po ito to indicate the temperature. Sa everyday application naman po, pressure measurement is used in daily, kagaya po sa ating mga bahay, sa rice cooker, sa tires, At pati na rin po, ginagamit po ito sa medical equipment for safety.
Now moving on to the importance of pressure measurement in industrial processes. Pressure monitoring is critical in process industries for several key reasons. The first one being for the safety. Accurate pressure readings help prevent dangerous pressurization, which could lead to equipment damage, explosions, or the release of harmful substances. Maintaining proper pressure level is essential for protecting both personnel and equipment. Next one is process control. Pressure is a fundamental variable in many industrial operations. Reliable pressure data allows for precise control of processes such as chemical reactions, fluid transport, and gas compression, ensuring consistent product quality. The next one is operational efficiency. Managing pressure effectively can improve energy efficiency and reduce waste. For example, maintaining optimal steam pressure in a system can lower energy consumption and operating costs while minimizing environmental impact. The next one is equipment longevity. Continuous pressure monitoring helps safeguard sensitive machinery like pumps, compressors, and pressure vessels from damage caused by abnormal pressure conditions. This extends equipment life and reduces maintenance expenses. The next one is regulatory compliance. Many industries must adhere to strict pressure related standards. Accurate pressure measurement ensures compliance with safety and quality regulations. And last but not the least is the early problem detection. Unusual pressure readings can signal issues such as leaks, blockages, and equipment failures. Early detection enables timely corrective action, helping to avoid costly downtime or accidents.
So, ano nga ba yung pressure? It is the measure of how much force are distributed in fluids and solids applied over a specific area. And by that definition, mapapansin din natin to sa kanyang mismong unit. Familiar na rin man tayo dito. Ano? And for Pascal, equal siya sa Newton per square meter for SI unit. And for English unit naman is PSI, where equal din siya sa pound force per square inch. And ang common example nga nito ay sa mga gulong ng sasakyan. Nakadepende yung weight ng sasakyan sa kanyang gulong kung saan ay nadidistribute ang force nito sa contact area ng gulong sa kalsada. And for the formula naman ng pressure ay for P is equal to F over A, where P ay equals sa pressure and for F naman ay equal ito sa force and for area ay equal to sa yung A natin.
So, allow me to discuss the type of pressure measurement. So again, sabi nga po ni Engineer Ercilias, pressure described as the amount of force applied to the surface of an object per unit area. So a formula nga po din ng pressure is force over area. So a pressure measurement is, in principle, always comparing the pressure between two different places. So as you can see in the diagram, sa pinakababa may absolute zero, or also known as perfect vacuum. So ito yung nag-serve as zero, kumbaga sa ruler sa yung zero. So wala na, you cannot have negative absolute pressure because zero absolute pressure is perfect vacuum, which means there is no pressure at all. It is the absence of any matter. So siya yung nagiging reference ng mga pressure. So absolute pressure, siya naman yung Pwede pong babalikan. Thank you. Absolute pressure, so yung pressure above the absolute zero. And then atmospheric, so yung pressure ng surroundings at sea level, which is 101.325 kPa. Then vacuum pressure, siya naman yung pressure below atmospheric. And gauge pressure is above atmospheric. And pressure differential naman is the pressure difference in between 2 points. So next po. So first, we have a gauge pressure. So gauge pressure is measured relative to the surrounding, the atmospheric pressure. It is widely used in industrial, mechanical, and automotive pressure settings, such as checking or monitoring in scaled containers or even a tire. So as you can see sa picture, merong gauge pressure measurement device na minimeasure na yung pressure sa loob ng gulong. So for example, a tire pressure reading is 30 psi means it is 30 psi above the current atmospheric pressure. So minimeasure niya yung pressure sa loob ng gulong. So yung gulong is nag-measure ng 30 psi, which means 30 psi, mas mataas ng 30 psi yung pressure sa loob ng gulong dun sa surrounding niya. So makukuha natin yung gauge pressure by the formula of pressure absolute minus the pressure of atmosphere. Next po. So next naman, we have a absolute pressure. This is the pressure measurement in relation to a perfect vacuum, which serves as the zero reference. This point has been chosen because it is the lowest possible pressure. In particular, there is no pressure at all. As sabi ko nga po, wala sa absolute zero, wala nang pressure. So the pressure above the absolute zero is always positive. For example po, a tire pressure reading of 30 psi, yun po ulit kanina, means it is 30 psi above the current atmospheric surrounding niya. Hence, it's about 44 psi or 308.1107 kPa on absolute scale. So nakuha natin yon by yung atmospheric pressure ng surrounding, which is yung 14.7 psi or yung 101.325 kPa plus yung pressure na nararamdaman ng isang system kung gaano kalakas yung pressure sa loob nun, which makes yung 30 psi. So pinag-plus lang po natin yung atmospheric pressure sa gauge pressure. So negative numbers are impossible po because na po yung kanina na no pressure below the perfect vacuum. So next naman is differential pressure. Differential pressure is also referred as a pressure difference. This type measure the pressure difference between 2 points or 2 random locations within a system. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga na i-monitor natin yung pressure difference? Because it is served as a detection. Kung may mga pressure drop or pressure increase sa isang component. For example, the differential pressure value provides information about the difference between the pressure at the inlet and the pressure of the outlet of the tool. It can be heat exchanger, pump, or filter. So, Sa differential pressure or pressure difference, you can have a positive or negative. So pag negative ang pressure difference, we can speak the pressure loss. So pag positive naman, differential pressure, edi pressure increase. So pag mayroong drop pressure, possible warning. So pag mayroong pressure drop, ang maaaring dahilan ay mayroong mga leak, hold, or break sa system. Pag naman may pressure increase, they may indicate that there is additional resistance in the system. Maaaring may bara or debris na lumuo over time. So, yung differential pressure is a pressure difference between two random. Walang sinabi kung gaano kalaki yung pressure sa pressure 1 o gaano kaliit yung pressure sa pressure 2. Para siyang gauge pressure lang din, saka absolute pressure na nag-measure ng pressure between 2 points. But a differential pressure is only saying about something about the difference in pressure between 2 points. Walang binibigyan information na po about the level of pressure in these 2 points. For example, again, halimbawa po ay may 3 bar or 3 PSI na difference between the points A and point B. It doesn't say anything about the amount of pressure at point A and point B, nor does it say anything about the point at the highest pressure. So ayun po. Again, gauge pressure po is the pressure measurement relative to the atmospheric, and absolute pressure is measured in relation to a cubic vacuum or in sub. And so the following type of pressure measurement will be discussed by the next reporter. Thank you po.
And for the remaining types of pressure naman po, we have atmospheric pressure. Ito, naniniwala ko na hindi na ito bago sa atin kasi matagal na natin itong ginagamit in solving pressure-related problems. Basically, this is the pressure exerted by the Earth's atmosphere. Saan siya ginagamit? Most prominent siya sa different types of barometer and also in aircraft's flight and lift pumps. Additionally po, ang most common value na ginagamit natin for atmospheric pressure at sea level is yung 101.325 kilopascal. Now, let's move on to the vacuum pressure. Dito naman, ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan dito is that any pressure na under atmospheric pressure or with a negative sign is considered as vacuum pressure. It is also expressed as a negative gauge pressure. And last but not the least, the hydrostatic pressure. This is the pressure exerted by a stationary fluid. Saan ba natin to magagamit? Most prominent naman siya in solving or finding out fluid mechanics. Ayan, sa ating subject class SEM, na-apply natin siya in solving, yun nga, yung hydrostatic pressure sa edges or sa different type ng edges ng isang container. So, ayan, let's move on naman sa units of pressure measurements.
So, good morning everyone. We are now moving to the units of pressure measurement. So, ang una dito ay Pascal. So, kung matatandaan niyo naman siya ay si Blaise Pascal na na-discover ng Pascal unit sa pamamagitan ng study of fluids. Tapos, base nga sa formula kanina, our pressure is equals to Newton per square meters. Application niya is meteorology, mechanical engineering, syempre sa atin, civil engineering, and technology and electronics. So, example niya na makikita natin minsan sa mga sample problem is the vacuum cleaner has a suction power of 25,000 pascals or PA. The pressure in a hydraulic line is 120,000 PA pascals. Yun nga. So, next po. Kilopascal. So, kagaya ng Pascal, syempre, dagdagan lang siya ng kilo. So, paano ba natin ginagawang kilopascal ang Pascal? So, if may given tayo na Pascal, dinidivide lang natin siya sa 1,000. So, conversion natin is may given kayo na 12,000 Pascal, multiply nyo lang siya sa kung anong gusto nyong gawin siyang unit. So, since gagawin natin siyang kilopascal, so 12,000 Pascal times 1 kPa over 1,000 PA. So, yan. Ang application niya naman is meteorology, tire pressure, automotive, and fluid dynamics. So, since Pascal siya, wide ang kanyang application. So, standard atmospheric pressure at sea level is approximately 101.3 kilopascals or kPa. The air compressor operates within a range of 413 to 758 kilopascals. Next. Tapos ito na ang last na sa conversion ng megapascal. Since ang pascal natin is pwedeng lumaki ng value yan. Unlike sa thermodynamics, kung mapapansin nyo nung nag-thermo 2 tayo, ang madalas na given sa atin ay MPa kasi nga ang ating pressure measurements ay palaki na ng palaki. So, definition dito is 1 megapascal is equals to 1 million pascals. It is common in hydraulic system and high pressure applications. So, para naman ma-convert ang ating PA sa MPa, dinidivide lang natin yung ating pascal sa 1 million para nga makuha ang ating MPa. So, ang application niya is hydraulic systems, high pressure applications, material science, and yun nga naging subject natin, thermodynamics. Example ay the hydraulic press operates at a pressure of 15 megapascals or MPa to lift heavy loads. This steam power plant operating on a Rankine cycle, high pressure steam exits at the boiler at 6 MPa and enters the turbine to generate electricity. So kung meron tayong SI units, hindi naman papatalo dyan ang mga taga-US na may sarili nilang pressure measurement gaya ng pound per square inch na minsan ay nakapagpahirap sa atin sa pagsasolve. Definition niya is the pressure resulting from a force of 1 pound force applied to an area of 1 square inch is widely used in the United States kasi nga English unit siya. So, application niya is tire pressure, hydraulic system, and other industrial applications. So, pwedeng ang maging unit nito ay yung LB over inch squared. Example is the bike tires were inflated to 40 psi. The water pressure at the bottom of the tank is measured to be 45 psi. Tapos ang pwede naman niyang isa pang unit ay pound per square foot, which is the pressure resulting from a force of 1 pound force applied to an area of 1 square foot is used in structural engineering and wind pressure measurement. Application niya nga yun. At saka itong geotechnical engineering and HVAC system. So, pwede din natin siyang gawing LB over feet squared. And the roof of a warehouse is designed to withstand a live load of 50 psf due to snow accumulation. If the wind pressure on a billboard is 30 psf, calculate the total force exerted on a surface area of 400 feet. Ito na ang isa pang measurement ng pressure bar. So, 1 bar is equals to 100,000 pascals. So, pwede rin siyang 0.1 MPa. And the bar is a metric unit of pressure but not part of the SI system, though it is accepted for use. Introduced by Wilhelm Birney, a Norwegian meteorologist, to simplify atmospheric pressure measurements. And siya ay applied sa meteorology nga, oceanography, automotive application, pressure vessels, and hydraulics and pneumatics. The pressure inside the container is 5 bar greater than the atmospheric pressure. The hydraulic system operates at a pressure of 120 bar. So yung mga sunod pa po na unit ay i-explain ni Gian.
Okay, so hello po ulit. Next naman po ay ating ATM or atmosphere. So dito naman po, siya po ay invented noong 19th century as standard reference. So alam naman po natin na ang 1 ATM equals to 1.1.325 kPa. Na ang kPa ay kaka-explain lang ang kanina. Ayun. So magagamit po siya as vacuum pressure din po, na ang vacuum pressure ay yung pressure below atmospheric, tapos mga gas laws, thermodynamic cycles, boiling point, and phase change na example. Kunyari, ang water boils at 100 Celsius ay 1 atm. Tapos engine cycles and analysis, pwede ang intake at saka exhaust. And then instrument ng calibration at saka testing. So kung mapapansin natin, yung image na pinakita ko ay parang familiar. Oo, familiar siya kasi na-explain ni Sir Halong Isip nung combustion. Yan ay tinatawag na fire triangle. So yan, magagamit din natin yung ang ATM sa ating combustions at sa iba-iba pang ME na courses. So yan po yung mga examples and kung paano siya magagamit. And next pa. Ayan, TOR. TOR naman ang next nating unit na named after Evangelista Torricelli, ang Italian physicist, who invented din ng barometer. So explain ko mamaya kung ano yung uses ng barometer. So saan ba gamit ang ang TOR? So pwede siya sa vacuum technologies, ayan, sa vacuum levels, sa pump chambers at saka sa mga systems natin. Tapos yung film deposition, merong physical, chemical, at saka yung cryogenics. Ayan, so yung cryogenics ay yung pinakitang image dyan sa upper right natin. And leak detection, parang self-explanatory naman, leak detection sa leak. Okay. At saka thermodynamics research. So ayan, widely used natin. And ayan, next po. Next, yan naman ang mmHg or millimeter of mercury. So ang millimeter of mercury ay originated din kay Torricelli. Diyan niya ginamit yung barometric pang measurement sa kanyang nung barometer experiment niya nung 1643. So yan din po yung mga uses niya, yung vacuum system na kakasabi ko lang kanina, calibration, thermodynamics, and heat transfer ay familiar na naman tayo kasi na ang thermodynamics ay napagdaanan na and heat transfer ay tinetake natin. Ang siguro, ang hindi tayo medyo familiar, yung refrigeration and air conditioning o yung HVAC. Kasi yun nga, parang prerequisite pa siya. So sa HVAC ay yung mga vacuum levels na ating ginagamit, na which is gagamitan din natin ng mmHg. And ang mga uses niya ay yung mga examples din sa baba. So, ang uses niya, connection niya, nag-originate ang mmHg ay dahil na yung sa mercury barometer at saka practicality and low to medium pressure ranges. So, next pa. Yan naman ang inch of mercury or INHG. Yan ay medyo similar lang sa mmHg. Pero syempre, meron ding ibang uses dahil ito ay sa imperial system naman, na which is related lang din sa parang mmHg ng kay Torricelli na So it's mainly used in the US and in industries where gauge and standards were historical based on mercury columns. So yan, vacuum measurement as kanina, engine performance testing, barometric pressure. Ayan. So proof lang na ginagamit siya sa barometric pressure. Meron tayong image sa gitna. na yan, ginagamit talaga yung inch mercury sa ating barometric pressure. And ang mga example ay nasa baba lang din. And next po. And lastly, sa ating unit ng pressure measurement ay ang mbar or millibar. Yan, para na-emphasis din sa libro na siya ay used in meteorologies. Kasi, ang mbar ay invented noong early 20th century by a meteorologist. So, kaya siguro yun yung na-emphasis din sa libro natin. And of course, siya ay magagamit din sa mga vacuum technology, refrigeration, turbomachinery, leak testing, and environmental engineering. So, next po. Bale, sa last ating slide ay meron tayong mga measurement. Next slide po. Then, ayan. Yan na po yung pinaka-summary ng ating measurement. Pero, sa ating module, na which is kung hindi pa nakakakuha ang iba, madami pa tayong measurement na nakalagay, pero mas nilagay na lang namin yung picture na yan para ma-emphasize yung mga unit pressure na ginamit or unexplained din kanina.
So, ayan po. Thank you very much po sa I would like to invite group 2 po sa kanilang presentation.
So good morning everyone po. Please allow me to share my screen po. Is my screen visible to everyone na po? So this will be quick lang po. So good day everyone. We hope you are all doing well. So today we will be presenting a report which is the part 2 of chapter 2, the pressure measurements. But before we begin with the discussion, please allow us to introduce ourselves one by one.
I am Patrick Joshua Atienza.
I am Noeline Kate Del Mundo.
I am Jed Robin A. Dimaandal. I am Vladimir A. Hermoso.
I am Helena Nicole Saniano.
I am Arda Isaac M. Santos.
And I am Joshua Miguel Seriosa.
So now that we've introduced ourselves already, so we can proceed to the main discussion of our report. So as mentioned earlier, this part of chapter 2, pressure measurements, here we will explore and explain its important concepts step by step. So let's start na po. So pressure measurement plays a vital role in the field of engineering. So it allows us to understand and monitor the behavior of fluids under different conditions. In this report, we will discuss the difference between static and dynamic pressure as well as the instruments commonly used in measurement, such as manometers and barometers. We will also cover the standards that ensure accuracy, the proper calibration of pressure gauges, and the correct techniques in reading them to achieve reliable results. These key points will serve as the foundation of our presentation today, and we will go through each of them step by step.
Now we're going to discuss static and dynamic pressure. So, static pressure, it is uniform in all directions. So, pressure measurements are independent of directions in an immovable static fluid. So, ang static pressure lang naman is yung hindi kino-consider yung movement sa pressure nito. Yun lang naman yun. Then, dynamic pressure with flow taken into consideration, it applies additional pressure on surfaces perpendicular to the flow direction while having little impact on surface parallel to the flow direction. So, we all know naman ang static is hindi moving. So, ang dynamic is moving na siya. Considered na dito yung movement ng gases or fluid. Then, total pressure or stagnation pressure. An instrument facing the flow direction measures the sum of static and dynamic pressures. So, dito sa baba, may note. Since dynamic pressure is referenced to static pressure, it is neither gauge nor absolute. It is a differential pressure.
So now let's proceed to the pressure measuring instruments.
The first one is manometer. Manometer is a device used to measure pressure, typically of gases or liquids, by balancing the pressure against a column of liquid. Manometers are simple, reliable, and widely used in various applications. So, ang manometer ay simple and classic na instrument na ginagamit para masukat ang pressure ng gas or liquid. Gumagana siya by comparing yung pressure ng liquid sa isang reference pressure. And usually ay may glass tube siya sa may loob, na may liquid sa loob. Tapos kapag may pressure difference, gagalaw yung liquid column pataas or pababa. Next slide po. So ito yung common na ginagamit natin na equation na nadaanan natin ng thermodynamics and fluid mech. So P is equal to rho GH, P is equal to pressure, differential pressure, and P1 ay yung low pressure natin, P2 is yung high pressure, the rho is the density, G is acceleration due to gravity, H is equal to height. Meron tayong different types of manometer. First is U-tube manometer. Consists of U-tube glass filled with a liquid, usually mercury or water. It is used to measure small pressure differences such as in laboratory experiments or ventilation. Yung U-tube manometer, basically glass tube siya na naka-shape na parang letter U tapos may liquid sa loob. One side is naka-connect sa pressure source, yung kabila is open sa atmosphere or reference. Kapag may pressure difference, uneven yung level ng liquid sa dalawang side, tas doon naka-base pag magre-read. Madali siyang gamitin para sa small pressure differences like sa lab experiments or ventilation systems. Next po is inclined manometer. A specialized type of manometer designed to measure small pressure differences with greater accuracy and sensitivity than standard U-tube manometers. So sa inclined manometer naman, halos same concept lang sa U-tube pero nakatilt yung tube. Dahil naka-incline, mas mahaba yung movement ng liquid column for the same pressure change. Mas sensitive siya and mas accurate para sa very small pressure differences. So, ang ginagamit po nating formula dyan is since nakatilt nga siya or inclined, meron po siyang angle na involved. So, gagamitan natin siya ng rho GH times dun sa sin theta.
Another type of manometer naman po is the well-type manometer. The well-type manometer is a variant of the traditional U-tube manometer, as stated ni Ms. Del Mundo kanina, designed to measure pressure with enhanced readability and convenience, especially for larger pressure ranges. It is used both in industrial settings and laboratories due to its ability to provide clear and accurate pressure readings. It uses a large reservoir or the well on one side of the tube, which helps stabilize the liquid level, making the measurement process easier and more readable. So, ang well-type manometer lang naman is parang mas advanced na version ng ating U-tube manometer. So, nag-work din siya is yung U-shape na tube niya sa loob is partially filled with liquid, which is usually water or mercury. Then, one side naman po na is open din sa atmosphere. Then, majority po ng gamit niya is for lab experiments. Tapos, nag-work po siya dahil yung liquid level po sa loob ng tube is nag-change. Next naman po is the digital manometer. Digital manometers do not rely on a hydrostatic balance of fluids, hindi tulad ng mga manometers stated na kanina. In order to detect pressure, they have a component called pressure transducer that converts the level of pressure observed into an electric signal or value. So, yung digital manometer naman, as the name states, is digital, nagamit siya ng mga electronics para gumana. Then ang nagde-detect nung pressure sa kanya is yung mga electronic sensors nga, yung pressure transducers. Then kaya siya ginagamit is mas mabilis or accurate yung measurement ng gauges or differential or absolute pressure sa kanya in both static or dynamic systems. Then maganda din siya dahil isa sa mga portable na manometer, then fast yung measurements. Then the next type of pressure measuring tool is the Bourdon tube. It is most widely used as a pressure sensing element. It is a mechanical pressure measuring device that uses a curved metal tube which straightens slightly when internal pressure increases. This movement drives a pointer on a dial to show the pressure. It is commonly used in industrial gauges due to the simplicity and readability, but is less effective for low pressure measurements. So ang Bourdon tube naman po, nag-work siya. May curved metal tube po siya na nagsistraighten kapag may na-apply na pressure. Tapos yung mechanism niya po, yung mismong dial is nagta-turn kapag nakakaramdam ng pressure. Kumbaga po, para po siyang same concept din po siya ng weighing scale. Parang ganun po yung dating niya. Then mas maganda po siya gamitin kapag high po yung pressure ng ating sinusukat. Then ginagamit po siya, majority is sa industrial or sa mga mechanical systems.
The third one is the diaphragm pressure gauge. It is used to measure pressure in environment where the fluid is corrosive, high temperature, thick, or contains solid particles that could damage traditional gauges. The gauge consists of a diaphragm isolator and a general pressure gauge. The diaphragm isolator prevents the fluid from coming into contact with the internal parts of the gauge. When the fluid pressure acts on the diaphragm, it bends, compressing the internal fluid. This pressure is transferred to the spring tube, which moves the pointer on the dial to show the pressure. This type of gauge is commonly found in industries such as petrochemical, chemical, pharmaceutical, and food processing, where harsh fluids are frequently measured. Next slide po. Bellows pressure gauge works by using a flexible metal bellows that expand or contracts based on pressure changes. This movement is transferred mechanically to a pointer on the dial, giving the pressure reading. These gauges are ideal for low pressure measurements and are valued for their high accuracy in applications like laboratories where precise measurements are needed. Thanks to their sensitivity, bellows gauges are perfect for systems where small pressure changes must be detected and monitored, like in scientific research or precision equipment. Next slide is McLeod vacuum gauge. It is specifically used to measure low vacuum pressures and is often used to calibrate other vacuum gauges. It works by compressing a known volume of gas. The gauge contains a bulb, capillary tubes, a reference column, and a mercury reservoir that is controlled by a piston. Pressure is calculated using Boyle's law, P1V1 equals P2V2, where P1 and V1 are the initial pressure and volume, and P2 and V2 are the final pressure and volume. The McLeod gauge is modeled for measuring gases that follows Boyle's law, but it's not suitable for vapors or gases that do not obey this law. It is often used in precision vacuum measurements and calibration. Next slide po.
So next naman po ay Pirani gauge. So the Pirani gauge consists of a metal wire open to the pressure being measured. The wire is heated by a current flowing through it and cooled by the gas surrounding it. So sa Pirani gauge po, ginagamit po ito para i-measure yung low pressure sa vacuum system. So it doesn't measure the pressure directly po, instead po ay it works by checking how gas conduct heat. So inside the gauge po, there is a thin heated wire. If there are many gas molecules, they carry away the heat quickly. Meaning po ay higher pressure siya. So if there are few molecules naman po, mag-i-stay po na mainit yung wire. Meaning naman po ay lower pressure. So simply po, the Pirani gauge measures the pressure by how fast gas can cool a hot wire. Next slides po. So next po ay ionization gauge. These gauges are the most sensitive gauge for measuring very low pressures or high vacuum. The principle of operation of this gauge sensing the pressure of gas by measuring the electrical ions produced when the gas is bombarded with electrons. So dito po, ginagamit po ito sa pag-measure ng low pressure in a vacuum, but ano po, mas mababa po ang mini-measure niya kaysa po dun sa Pirani gauge. So inside the gauge po, gas molecules are bombarded with electrons nga po. This process po creates ions. So ang number ng ions po ay depende sa dami ng gas molecules. If there are more molecules po or higher pressure, more ions are formed. And if konti lang naman po yung molecules, ay konti din po yung ions na napo-form. So overall po dito sa ionization gauge, it measure pressure by counting how many ions are made po from the gas molecules. So next po, thermal conductivity vacuum gauge. The thermal conductivity vacuum gauge works on the principle that at low pressure, the thermal conductivity of a gas is a function of pressure. So this gauge naman po measures low pressure by using the principle of heat transfer. So inside this gauge po, there is a heated element like wire or filament. The cooling of this element depends on how many gas molecules around it. So at higher pressure po, mas madami po yung gas molecules, so they carry away more heat po. At lower pressure naman po, mas kokonti po yung gas molecules, so the wire stays hotter po. So the thermal conductivity gauge measures pressure by checking how fast gas removes heat from a hot wire po.
For the thermal dead weight tester po, a dead weight tester is a primary standard for pressure calibration. It is used to check instruments like gauges, transducers, and sensors. By applying non-weight piston, it produces a reference pressure. It works on the simple area. Paggamit po ng dead weight tester, ito po ang pinagsusukat po natin ng mga pressure gauges po na ginamit po sa iba't ibang machine. Dito po, nilalagay na yung weight po ay nag-transfer sa fluids, binubuksan na valve, which then, pag nabuksan po yung valves, yung fluid na sinusukat po para i-calibrate po yung pressure gauges. Mainly po, or usually po, nakaset po siya sa isang pressure. So, once na magte-testing po kayo, most likely po ay pare-pares po dapat ang pressure na masusukat. Next po. String gauge pressure transducer. It is a fine wire whose resistance changes when strained. When attached to a diaphragm, it stretches or compresses as the diaphragm flexes under pressure. This deformation alters its length and cross-sectional area, causing a change in resistance, calculated based on its resistance. Yan pa, R4 is equals to R2 times R3 over R1. Ito po ay madalas po siyang nakakabit po sa mga bridges po, dams and power plants para po ma-check ang overloading niya. Under tension po, resistance increases, and under compression, resistance decreases. Next po. Capacitive pressure transducer. A capacitive pressure transducer senses pressure through variations in capacitance. A pressure deforms a diaphragm between two plates. The plate spacing shifts, causing a change in capacitance. Sa capacitive pressure transducer po, meron po siyang dalawang plato, isang naka-fix at isang diaphragm. Kapag may pressure po na gumalaw sa diaphragm, mas lumalapit po siya or lumalayo sa fix na plato. Sa isa pong fix na part. Nagbabago po ang distansya sa pagitan ng dalawang plato po at dito po nasusukat ang pagbabago ng capacitance na in turn nagko-convert po at nagsusukat ng electricity po.
The next one is the potentiometric pressure sensors. Potentiometric pressure sensor is a type of sensor that measure pressure by converting the mechanical displacement of a diaphragm or wiper into a change in electrical resistance. Ito naman po is nagwo-work by converting mechanical pressure into an electrical signal gamit ang potentiometer or variable resistor. Dito naman ay kapag may pressure na naka-apply ay nagkakaroon ng movement sa sensing element at nagbabago ang resistance. Kaya sa pagbabago ng resistance ay nagbabago rin ang output voltage na nagre-represent ng pressure. Commonly ay ginagamit ito sa industrial machine, hydraulic systems at automotive application para ma-direct measurement ng displacement or pressure. Next po. Next is the inductive pressure transducer. Inductive pressure transducers work by using the principle of inductance, where the electrical inductance of a coil is affected by the position of movable core or diaphragm that changes in response to pressure. The movement of the core alters the inductance of the coil, which is then converted into electrical signal proportional to the applied pressure. From the word inductive, ito naman is nagwo-work by using the principle of inductance. Kapag may pressure na naka-apply ay nagkakaroon din ng displacement o movement sa diaphragm or core ng sensor. This movement changes the inductance of a coil at yung pagbabago na yun ay kino-convert into electrical signal na proportional sa pressure. Ang advantage naman nito is high accuracy, good sensitivity at durability. Kaya madalas silang gamitin sa industrial application, aerospace at automotive system. Next po. The next is the barometer, an instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure, which is essential for weather forecasting, altitude determination, and various scientific applications. The barometer has been a fundamental tool in meteorology since its invention in the 17th century by Evangelista Torricelli. Ito naman is commonly na-use sa atmospheric pressure at madalas itong ginagamit para ma-predict ang weather. Kapag mataas ang pressure, usually ibig sabihin ay good weather. Pero kapag mababa naman, kadalasan ay ang parating nito ay ulan o bagyo. Ang common type nito is mercury barometer, kung saan tumataas o bumababa ang mercury level depending sa air pressure. Habang ang aneroid barometer naman ay gumagamit ng metal capsule na nag-e-expand or nagko-compress with changes in pressure. Ito ay simple pero very useful na barometer. Kaya ginagamit ito hindi lang sa meteorology kundi pati sa aviation at navigation para makatulong sa safe at accurate operation.
Punta po tayo ngayon sa standards. So, sa standards po, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers has developed two separate and distinct standards on pressure measurement, the B40.100 and PTC 19.2. Yung B40.100 more on sa guidelines para sa pressure gauges, kasama na po dito yung sa dial type, digital gauges, diaphragm seals, numbers, and pressure limiter valves. Meanwhile, yung PTC 19.2, nakafocus siya sa accurate determination ng pressure values para sa performance testing. Basically, tinutulungan nitong masigurado na tama yung method, instrument choice, setup, at corrections na gagamitin depende sa purpose ng measurement at required accuracy. Ang goal ng mga standards na to is para maging consistent and reliable yung mga pressure measurement methods sa industry.
So now let's move on to the calibration of a pressure gauge. So we have 7 steps in the calibration steps of a pressure gauge. First one is the preparation. Second one is the setup. Third one is the zero check and pressure application. Fourth is error calculation. Fifth is adjustment if it's needed. 6 is documentation, and 7 is reinstallation. So first one is the preparation. So the first step is to select the gauge and gather tools. So you need to prepare all the materials and instruments needed before the calibration. Next is you need to log readings in a notepad, sheet, or software. So, kailangan mo ng pag-take down ng notes para ma-record mo yung consistency and inconsistency habang nagka-calibrate. Third is to ensure safety by wearing appropriate PPE. So, in every thing that you do inside the laboratory or every time that you will calibrate something, you need to wear the proper tools, especially yung mga gloves, yung goggles, or if it's needed, naka-PPE pa minsan. Next is to make sure to disconnect the gauge from the system. So, hindi mo kasi makakalibrate yung pressure gauge kapag nakakonect siya dun sa mismong system kasi makaka-affect siya sa makukuha mong, hindi naman recordings, sa makukuha mo dun sa mismong pressure gauge. Next is to check pressure source and reference device range. So before you formally start the calibration process, you need to double check everything. The next one is the setup. So after you check kung naka-disconnect na ba ang lahat, kung okay na ba yung system, tapos yung mismong pressure gauge, you will connect the gauge securing the calibration setup. So pagkahugot mo sa system nung pressure gauge, dun mo siya i-connect or isasaksak sa calibration setup. So later, after the calibration steps explanation, I will present a video kung paano ginagawa yung calibration steps. Next is to attach the reference standard in parallel with the gauge. And before that, you need to make sure all fittings are tight to avoid leaks. So, yung ma-record mo kasi sa calibration setup, tsaka dun sa pressure gauge, hindi mo masasabing accurate siya kung mayroong leakage na magaganap or may leakage na mangyayari. Bleed any trapped air gas from the system to prevent inaccurate readings. So, same goes with the leakage. Kapag may remaining air or gas sa loob ng system, hindi din accurate yung makukuha mong readings since meron na siya agad initially na laman. Hindi mo talaga makakalibrate ng maayos yung pressure gauge. Next is the zero check pressure application. So this is connected with checking if may laman pang gas or air yung system or yung pressure gauge at kung may leakage. So check if the gauge needle rests at zero when unpressurized. So meaning pag unpressurized, wala pang pressure na inia-apply. So with that, kailangan stable or nasa zero yung arrow. Nakatapat sa zero yung arrow. If not, note that offset or adjust if the gauge allows. Kung sure naman na kayo na walang laman or walang natirang gas or air sa loob ng system, tapos yung arrow ay hindi sa zero nakatapat, maybe you can adjust it to zero to make sure na yung lalabas na readings ay accurate. Not just to gradually apply pressure in steps. So, merong specific amount of pressure every step of the way in order to record or to know kung accurate pa rin ba yung pressure gauge sa mga readings niya. So, you need to record the readings from each step sa gauge at saka sa reference para makita nyo yung difference kung at the end of the process ay accurate pa rin ba yung nalabas na readings dun sa pressure gauge. And next is to check for hysteresis. Before moving on to the next one, ito na po yung error calculation. Like what I've said, you need to write all the readings at every step or every amount ng pressure na i-add. Since at each pressure level, you need to compare the gauge reading with the reference standard and calculate the deviation. So, meron kasing standard na dun sa gauge pressure. And kapag kinalibrate mo siya, mapagko-compare mo kung mataas ba yung difference between the standard and dun sa gamit mong paraphernalia. Kasi kapag malaki na yung difference niya, ibig sabihin, inaccurate na or meron ng inconsistency sa magiging readings or records mo in the future. So, the result will represent the gauge error. So, like what I've said, kapag mataas yung difference or mataas yung error na lumabas, ibig sabihin, may inconsistency na, hindi na accurate yung paraphernalia to use in the future. So, check whether the error falls within acceptable limits. So, meron lang certain limit para malaman mo kung accurate pa ba yung pressure gauge. For example, kapag maliit lang naman yung error na makakalculate mo, so maliit lang yung inconsistency or malapit pa rin naman doon sa standard. Pero kapag sobrang layo na niya, dun sa standard amount is the standard measurement. Ibig sabihin, hindi na accurate gamitin yung pressure gauge. Next is adjustment if needed. If the gauge is adjustable and the error exceeds acceptable limits, make corrections usually via screw or knob. So there's a chance or there's a probability na kapag mayroong slight difference between the standard and on what you calculated or on what you measured, meron lang siguro luwag na screw or siguro meron ngang leakage. So yun yung mahalaga kung bakit kailangan mong tingnan kung may leakage ba dun sa mga magkakakonect na pipes. Also, kung maskip ba yung mga pagkakanat ng screws, kung meron bang maluwag, kasi pwede rin magkaroon doon ng leakage. So, kung hindi mo siya na-double check before mo gamitin yung calibration setup at saka yung gauge, yung pressure gauge, ibig sabihin, may chance nga na magkakaroon ng error sa dulo. Next is after adjustments, repeat the calibration to confirm accuracy. So, after mong ma-confirm kung ayos nga ba yung mga screw, kung wala nga ba talagang leakage, pwede mong ulitin yung calibration process. If ever na ganun pa rin yung lumabas na result, kapag meron pa rin error or malaki pa rin yung difference, ibig sabihin, tama yung ginawa mong calibration process, pero yung pressure gauge na mismo yung may mali. Ibig sabihin, kailangan na siyang palitan. Last, I don't think this is the last one. So documentation. So you need to record all initial and final readings, include the adjustments made and the reference values. So like what I've said, you need to take down notes every step of the way, every level. So i-compare mo siya sa initial, and then kung magkakaroon ng adjustment, you will take down notes as well. And then you will compare it na sa final readings. You will see if the same lang ba from the start to finish, kung mayroong slight adjustment, kung mayroong slight difference after the adjustment, and so on and so forth. You need to label the gauge with calibration date, the next due date, and the name of the person who performed the calibration. So, kailangan ng maintenance para malaman mo kung hanggang kailan pa ba pwedeng gamitin yung pressure gauge. So, hindi pwedeng once a year mo lang siya i-check kasi malay mo nagkaroon siya ng defect through different possible effects. So, for example, nag-calibrate ka this month, you will log down kung kunwari, ngayong araw finalibrate, so kailan siya ulit ika-calibrate, and make sure na yung mga laboratory personnel na inform mo sila na nag-calibrate ka, and then sasabihin mo sa kanila kung kailan yung next due date or kailan yung deadline na ika-calibrate ulit yung paraphernalia. In that way, ma-ensure nyo na na-maintain or na-make sure na yung paraphernalia is accurate yung mga readings niya kapag ginamit niya siya sa laboratory. So, next one is the reinstallation. So, syempre, after the calibration process, after nyo makalibrate yung pressure gauge, kailangan mo siyang ibalik dun sa setup niya before mo siya kalasin. So, ibabalik mo ulit siya sa system, and syempre, itatry mo kung gumagana ba siya the same way na gumagana siya before. Before this, let me present a video to everyone. Pa-react naman po if audible po yung audio.
Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Today we will demonstrate how to calibrate a pressure gauge in calibration laboratory using comparison method. So before starting, let us discuss what are equipments we need to calibrate a pressure gauge. The first equipment we need is gauge comparator. Gauge comparator is used as source of hydraulic pressure required for calibration. Friends, please note that gauge comparator should be able to provide the sufficient full-scale and linear pressure to unit under calibration. Friends, our second requirement is master pressure gauge. It is also known as reference gauge. Friends, master gauge or reference instrument is most important equipment in any calibration. Master gauge of better accuracy will give more accurate calibration results. The resolution or least count of master gauge must be better than the least count of gauge under calibration. Third and final requirement is pressure gauge being calibrated, it also called as unit under calibration or UUC. The UUC must be in good working condition. Both master gauge and gauge under calibration must be kept in controlled environment for at least 2 hours. Let us discuss the steps of calibration. Step 1. Note down the calibration points. Step 2. Fix the master gauge and test gauge on the gauge comparator. Step 3. Do the preloading. Step 4. Apply the pressure and note the readings of master and test gauge on each calibration point in both increasing and decreasing cycles. At least 30 seconds should be waited before taking observations on test points in order to stabilize the pressure. Step 5. Calculate the measurement uncertainty and final results based on the observations.
So, ayun po, as you can see, ganun po yung process ng calibration. Now, let's move on to the last part po ng chapter 2 since malapit na rin mag-time. So, dahil napanood ko na po, meron pa rin siyang safety procedures. First is safety first. Always prioritize safety before approaching the system. Wear proper PPE such as gloves, goggles, or face shields, especially if dealing with high-pressure systems or hazardous fluids, and make sure to ensure that the work area is safe and that there is no risk of sudden release of pressure. So gaya ng sabi ko kanina, we need to ensure that we wear the proper outfit, yung proper na suot kapag magka-calibrate ng pressure gauge. Second is gauge identification. You need to confirm that the gauge being read is the correct one for the system. Check its pressure range and ensure that it matches the operating conditions. Using the wrong gauge may give inaccurate readings or even cause damage. So, you need to make sure na yung gauge na gagamitin nyo ay fit doon sa system. Kasi meron tayong different types of measuring instruments na na-discuss kanina at meron siyang kanya-kanyang uses. Ginagamit siya sa iba't ibang system. So, we need to know or we need to ensure na yung gagamitin ba nating pressuring measurement ay fit or talagang compatible sa system. Third is the visual inspection. Inspect the gauge for any physical issues. Look for cracks in the glass, cover, corrosion, leaks, or a bent needle. A damaged gauge can lead to false readings and should not be used until repaired or replaced. So, hindi lamang yung mismong calibration setup ang kailangan na ensure na maayos, kundi mismong yung pressure gauge. Kasi gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, kapag may leakage or kung may butas, hindi na accurate yung readings na lalabas. Fourth is reading the gauge. When taking the reading, position your eyes directly in front of the needle to avoid parallax error. Carefully note the needle's position related to the scale markings. For digital gauges, confirm that the display is stable and not fluctuating. So, pagbabasa naman ng readings, kapag dun sa, ang ginamit nyo is yung manual, which is yung arrow yung ginagamit, you need to ensure na kaharap mo mismo yung arrow. Since kapag nasa gilid ka or nasa taas ka or iba yung view mo, pwedeng or mataas yung chance or yung probability na iba yung kita mong number yung tinatapatan ng arrow kasi hindi ka mismo nakaharap. If you're using a digital one naman, you need to make sure na yung digits or yung numbers na nalabas sa screen ay malinaw dahil pwedeng magkamali ka ng basa kung malabo ito. Fifth one is record the reading. Write down the exact measurement, including the correct unit, for example, if it's kilopascal, megapascal, or PSI. So proper documentation is important for monitoring trends and comparing results during inspections. So gaya nga na sinabi ko kanina, you need to take down notes. But alongside with that, you need to make sure na tama yung nilalagay mo na units. Kasi kung magkaiba yung units na mailagay mo, malaki ang chance na napakalaki ng error na makukumpute mo sa dulo. Sixth is double check. Take a moment to verify your recorded value. Recheck the needle position or digital display to make sure no mistakes were made. Consistency helps prevent misinterpretation. So, you need to double check every time na magkukuha ka ng readings or kukuha ka ng measurement para maiwasan yung error or misinterpretation sa dulo. Seventh one is restore system settings. Once finished, return the system to its original condition if any adjustments were made. Ensure that valves, controls, or connections are set back properly to avoid operational issues. So like what I've said earlier, you need to put it back the way na nakita mo siya nung umpisa. Kailangan mong ibalik sa standard na position or standard na use ng gamit. Kasi kapag hindi alam ng susunod na gagamit na ganun pala yung setup niya or ganun yung mode niya dahil ganun yung ginamit mo sa kanya, may chance na mali yung magiging readings nila dahil hindi naman sila aware. And the last one is report issues. Finally, if you notice any abnormalities such as fluctuating readings, stuck needles, or damage, report them immediately. Proper reporting ensures corrective action that can be taken and prevents potential hazards. So like what I've said earlier, you need to always inform the personnel inside the laboratory. Kung may ginalaw ka, kung may ginawa ka, or kailan yung mga sunod na gagawin with a certain paraphernalia. So with that, we can avoid further complications inside the laboratory and as well as further problems or issues with the system and the instrument. So by following these 8 steps, we not only improve the accuracy of our pressure measurements, but also maintain the safety and reliability of the system. So that's all po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Group 1 and Group number 2. Okay, so ano nga bang pinakamagandang pressure measuring devices natin? So, hindi natin masasagot yun, ano, depende na yun sa kung saan gagamitin. Halimbawa, pag mga laboratory work lang naman, ano bang pwedeng gamitin natin? Manometer. So, pag mga high pressure na, Bourdon gauge. So, pwede naman natin gamitin ng manometer. Kaso high pressure, baka lang mag-explode. Okay? Si manometer kasi is simple and kumbaga basic setup lang siya used to measure pressure. And yun nga, merong iba na depende sa kanyang use. Halimbawa, hindi natin masasabi na ito ang pinakamagandang gamitin natin. Manometer. So, kaya ba ng manometer yung high pressure? Kaya ba ng manometer yung mga fast-changing dynamic pressure? O kaya yung mga ultra-high vacuum environments? Hindi po. So, depende sa gamit niya kung ano yung gagamitin mong pressure measuring devices. Okay? Next, dun sa video na pinakita ni Ining, so, yun ay deadweight tester. So, yung deadweight tester na yon, gagawin din natin yon, yun yung isa sa lab natin. So, medyo matagal yon kasi increasing and decreasing nga siya, kukunin mo, and kumbaga i-calibrate natin si deadweight tester kung tama ba or calibrated ba yung ating deadweight tester. Then, yung mga nasa book nyo, yung mga laboratory doon, so itatry din natin siyang gawin. Okay? Kasi meron doon sa likod na laboratory experiments. So, kung meron tayong available na equipment, so gagamitin natin siya. Okay, may questions ba kayo? Clarifications? Okay, so again, thank you, Group 1 and Group 2. So, yun. Sorry na, 10 o'clock na. So, class dismissed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.